Ready? I'm Soph. This is Rich. We're across the pond. Still just me. Just so you know, apparently Rich is going to be back in a few weeks. My reign on my own will be over, and yeah, you won't have to just listen to me harping on because he'll be back. Get in. Okay, so another week. This week has flown. Let me have a look. Got a couple of bits from the news. Firstly, it was Richard's youngest son's Ryan's birthday in the week, so we wanted to wish him a happy. Well, I wanted to wish him a happy belated birthday. Richard's already wished him a happy birthday, so that's the first bit. Across the ponds news, apparently 35 Republicans chose the truth over Donald Trump's personality cult to pass a bill in investigation for the insurrection. Now, I hope I said that right, because A, I'm a bit flustered from that woman when I first came on, and B, I read it down in the week. So if I got it wrong, leave a comment or have it out with Rich, because I don't know. Also, apparently in the USA, they're recommending a booster after you've had your second jab. So you have your 2 vaccines and then they want you to have a booster, which is a little bit bizarre, but anyway. Paul Mooney died at the age of 79. Now, I personally don't know who he is. Rich says he was the man. Apparently something to do with comedy. This is why we need him here to answer, because I ain't got a clue. Sorry. But yeah, sorry, he passed away. Sorry for your loss, Paul Mooney's family. Also, Jay-Z, Tina Turner, Carole King, Foo Fighters, the Go-Go's are going into the Rock Hall of Fame. Get in. Love me some Tina and some Jay-Z. I don't know. In the UK, so most importantly, we can now eat out. We can go into a restaurant and sit in and have a meal out. We don't have to sit outside like cast outs. We can eat out. Do you know we're all about food, right? Big foodies. So, yeah, we can actually eat out. We're not out and in, if you know what I mean. Like before, we could eat in restaurants, but you had to sit outside. Now you can eat out at restaurants, but sit inside, if that makes sense. I'm down with it anyway. Went to a lovely tea room in the week with the bestie, the dude, Michaela. We had cake. Coffee, not tea. It's called Parlour Tea Rooms. Absolute beaut. Defo recommend it. Weather here is atrocious. It's blowing a hoolie, absolutely hammering it down with rain. I think Richard's got sun, but yeah, it's not good here. Back to today. It is not just me. He's waiting to come into the room. His name is Jay Reace. He calls himself Mr. Positivity. He is an author. He's got his own show, does exercise, yoga. I mean, he's got it all going on. And here he is. Let's wait till he's connected to audio. Can we hear him? Yes.
Hey, what's going on?
I was just bigging you up there. Don't worry.
Oh, nice.
Reading off all this stuff, you know, that you're an author, Mr. Positivity, you've got your own show, Bite the Bullet, you know, the whole exercise regime going on that you share with the world.
I love it.
No, looking hench. Have you been to the gym lately?
Well, you know, I tend to bench press my kids every morning. I'm playing. No, it's just the stuff I do.
Right. So have I missed anything else out about you, Mr. Jay Reace?
No, I think you were awesome and you nailed it. Wow. It was pretty cool.
Now, I have to say, we've had some, I feel like I've got a celebrity on the show, right?
Where
and we've had some awesome guests on the show, and I feel really sorry because Rich has missed some really awesome people. So I've got questions here from him. So you know you will have to come back, right? I've said that to everybody the last few weeks.
Of course. Like it honestly, like the whole time that I was waiting, I was like, oh man, I really wish Rich was here. But I'm more than happy to come back just to chop it up with my boy.
I'll take offense to that.
Well, you know what I meant. I mean, I love you, Soph, and it's good. There he is. You know. Also, okay, that kind of counts. So it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't say much, but he's still here. Um, but no, you'll definitely have to come back, because obviously we've been on your show, like individually,
Right.
because I think I came on your show just after we started Across the Pond, but you were asking
Right.
me about like photography mainly, and
Correct.
stuff like that. And then you
Mm-hmm.
spoke to Rich after he had his book out.
Right.
So you two sort of chopped it up and had it going on then. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, now it's only fair to have you back.
Yes, definitely. Most def. Have
So
both of you guys. Yeah, go ahead.
I've got so many questions I want to ask you. I just don't even know where to start.
Ask away. I'm an open book. Go
I'm
ahead.
going to start with, on your socials, you're obviously Jay Reace, Mr. Positivity, right?
Okay. Yeah.
How did that how did that come about? Why did you decide to promote yourself in that way? I mean, I love it, don't get me wrong. I'm all for positivity.
I feel like you hate it just a little bit. I
No.
feel that's
Oh hell, there's no room for negativity here.
Honestly, I have to give credit where credit is due. I have several mentors. Some I have met in person, some just through books and videos and stuff. But one mentor, he's a living legend to me, Fred Beasley, Doc. I love him to death. I met him when I was in New York for a vegan program, Vegan Main Street Academy. And he was giving a lecture. And in his lecture, he was saying how everyone has superpowers. And that resonated with me so much because anyone who's around me for like 5 minutes knows that I'm a huge geek. So I literally was drinking everything that he was saying. And one of the parts of his speech, he was asking us to come up with what our superhero name would be. And as an adult, you're like, well, I don't have a superhero name. I'm not a superhero. Like, I can't come up with a name. Like, what are you talking about? So he was like, no, come on. What would it be? What would it be? I'm like, well, I guess Mr. Positivity. So of course, at this point, everyone in the room just turns around and is like, what? Really? I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, not to say that I'm a positive guy all the time, but I tend to have a very positive outlook. Anyone who's around me, my family, they know I just gravitate to positive things, regardless of how negative the situation is. So I'm the superhero, Mr. Positivity. And that's when it was born. And I was like, you know what? Let me claim this.
And you know what? I bet all those people in that room that went, what? Look who's laughing now. Look who's laughing now.
Right? Exactly.
Now you've just, like, my brain works, it just goes off on a tangent, right? So you've just mentioned something that I wanted to speak to you about, this whole vegan, like, way of
air
living.
quotes.
Like me, you know, me and Rich are both foodies, right? And I'm
Right,
definitely a meat. I'm definitely a meat lover. You know, I
yeah.
can't even apologize for that. In fact, I had a beautiful T-bone steak last night.
I can't even lie. I saw your picture of the T-bone and I was like, oh, so you hurt me. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead with the question.
How long have you been a vegan?
So I've been vegan for about 6.5, maybe 7 years. It's been quite a while.
And why did you decide to take the green side?
Well, I used to tell people it's because it was my health, and when I started learning about the animals, which are true, but at the same time, there was a little bit of vanity behind it. I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to look good, and every vegan that I came across, they essentially looked good at the time. So when I started on my health journey of trying to lose weight, I started watching documentaries and reading books, and I kept coming across various different types of literature that points to how veganism is better for our bodies because animal products do so much horrible atrocities to our bodies, to the planet, to the animals. And I kept going down that rabbit hole. And before I knew it, I was like, you know what? I'm vegan. I went and told my wife, and that night I was pretty much done with any animal products.
Is your wife vegan or just you?
It is just me. My wife is very supportive. I'm the primary cook in the house, so whatever I cook, she lovingly eats. I don't touch meat anymore. I don't touch animal products. So
you
by
don't even
default,
cook it?
I don't even cook it. I kid you not. everyone in my personal life that knows me, they know do not bring animals around me, because one, they're gonna have to hear a lecture, and two, I'm just not gonna do it anymore. Because at first I tried to appease everyone, and I tried to be like, well, okay, because I didn't want to be the mean vegan, I didn't want to be the nasty, over preachy vegan, and then I had to learn, like, you know what, my feelings are valid too, and what I believe, I feel is a moral obligation, just like how someone is very spiritual, or someone has issues, thoughts about abortion, their feelings are valid, just like mine are. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to tell anyone what they should and shouldn't do, but this is what I'm not going to do. And that's kind of where I drew my line in the sand.
So do you go all in vegan, like no leather shoes, vegan soap, vegan toothbrush, vegan, all that jazz?
I do it where I can. So another mentor of mine, Victoria Moran.
By the way, no judgment here if you wear leather shoes, because I love shoes, right? You can never have too many. So there's definitely no judgment.
Well, here's the thing. My mentor, Victoria Moran, she has a saying that goes, do as much good as you possibly can with as little harm as possible, right? And that, ever since I heard that, has just stuck with me. Mm-hmm. So before I was vegan, I had leather belts, I had leather shoes, I had animal product clothing and other stuff in my house. So when I became vegan, I didn't toss that out and go buy a whole bunch of new stuff, because one, I couldn't afford it. And two, that wouldn't have been practical, because I believe that nothing should have to die in vain. So if I were to just throw that stuff out, to me, that sacrifice that animal forcibly went through would have been in vain. So so like my belts, that's leather, I'm wearing that until it's literally breaking apart. The shoes, actually, some of the shoes I donated to Goodwill and stuff, and then I went and bought new shoes as, shoes wear out and stuff like that. So typically when my stuff wears out, that's when I buy new and I buy it vegan.
Nice. Well, we had a guest on, and I know this guy Mason, who's a life coach, who's also a vegan, and he put something on his story the other day that basically said all of people in general claim to be animal lovers, but they don't want to be a vegan. And I thought to myself, you can't really say if you love animals, then you'd be a vegan,
Why can't you? No, I'm curious.
You can still like animals, but surely it's a bit like the circle of life, right?
Well, we'll see exactly what you said, though. You can like animals and not be vegan. But if you truly loved animals, you wouldn't want any harm to happen to any animal.
Okay, so what about then? I love asking all these questions.
I'm an open book, so yeah.
And everybody, I know a few vegans, and I always ask the same questions. So I like to see what their answer is. So what if, let's just say animals like cows, chickens, and all that jazz, they weren't killed for you to eat, but when they died from whatever, old age, heart attack, whatever, they died, natural causes, would it be all right to eat them then?
In my opinion, no.
Why would you say that? Because nobody's killed them. They've died.
So I understand what you're saying, because for a long time I thought similar too. Even when I wasn't eating animals anymore, I was like, well, if they die of natural causes, or if I'm stuck on a desert island, sure. But I've since changed my opinion about that, because medically, animal fat in your body has such high cholesterol. And a lot of times, even though they say we're supposed to get protein, that protein is laced with so many different chemicals, or even if it's free range, or if it's an animal out in the wild, their body produces different hormones and chemicals that we do. It isn't healthy for our body at all.
Even though it tastes nice?
I admit. I mean, I can't sit here and tell you meat doesn't taste good, because they have to make it taste good. Otherwise, people aren't going to buy it, and people aren't going to eat it and keep coming back for it. So of course it tastes good. I can't sit here and say, oh, it tastes nasty. There's still products like, I used to love, key lime pie. That is one of my favorite dishes. However, it's made with eggs. I don't eat that anymore. I found vegan substitutes for it that taste pretty good, but it doesn't quite taste the same, because it's not the same. And I'm okay with that, because I know why I'm vegan and why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Do you eat meat substitutes, or do you just eat plant, like veg and stuff, or do you eat that whole corn, or, you know, I call it fake meat. Like some of it, I'm not gonna lie,
No,
some
I
of it
know.
in the supermarket looks like
Uh-huh.
plasticine. Like they have slices of what's meant to be bacon. My son's Play-Doh looks like that, you know.
No, yeah, the presentation on a lot of different vegan stuff could be better. However, the same thing could be said for a lot of different animal products. Because think about it this way. Um, if you were raised vegan, that would be normal for you, seeing
Yeah,
that stuff,
true.
right? So we all, well, I shouldn't say all of us, but most of us were raised in a meat society. So that looks normal. So when something comes different, it's weird, it's odd because we're not used to seeing it in that particular manner.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to answer your question, I do eat processed mock fake meat, but I try to keep it at a very minimum because anything processed, whether it's vegan, non-vegan, whatever the case may be, it's not good for the body because it's processed. So I try my best to eliminate as much as possible, but a lot of times it's just out of convenience. Like, say if I just want to make a quick like sandwich, or if I don't know how to make pasta, like the rolls. I don't know how to do that. I don't have a machine, so I have to buy pasta. So it's stuff like that that of course like I don't make it. It's processed stuff. So yeah, I hope that answered the question.
Yeah. What sorry to put you on the spot, I'm just curious. What is the one thing that you miss the most that you can't eat now?
Honestly, there's nothing that I miss eating. However, the only thing I really miss is convenience.
Okay.
So a lot of times, like when I go to the movie theaters, well, before pandemic, when I used to go to the movie theaters, I used to love butter on my popcorn. Now I have to be very careful of what butter they're using, or artificial butter they're using, to make sure there's no animal products. Or if I'm out with friends or with family, I mean, a lot of times people know now, okay, we have to go to this restaurant, which I mean, that makes it seem like I'm a diva or whatever. But
you are, but
if
it's
they know,
fine.
right. So a lot of times now, it's just the convenience of being able to go play. Or like when, like me and my family, we used to travel a lot before COVID. So we're driving across country of the US. We don't know where we're going to be. So I have to make very quick decisions of where to stop and how to eat and make sure I'm getting all the nutrients that I'm supposed to be. Which I got to tell you, fries are usually a lifesaver for a vegan. I tell you that for
real. I have tried some vegan stuff of late, and I've got to say, some of it is nice. Some of it I'm definitely not a fan. Definitely not a fan. It not only does it not look right, it does not taste right. And I was thinking to myself, a bit like you, when you said, "Oh, everyone who was vegan looks healthy." I was thinking, okay, maybe from a weight loss perspective point of view, let's at least give it a try.
Yeah.
I haven't dropped a pound. I haven't dropped a gram, I don't think. I mean, I felt less bloated, shall we say? As regards to weight loss, no, nothing's happened for me. And after 3 days, I spoke to my best friend and I said, dude, I haven't eaten meat for 3 days. And you know what she said? Oh my God, don't do this to me. Because she, like us, loves to eat,
So you've hit so many topics just now. So so let me try to go backwards. So every culture, every person in the world, usually, how should I say this? They usually gather with food, holidays, events. There's always food around, right?
Yeah.
So anytime you change the normal type of any type of normal food that people eat in gatherings, it's going to throw people off, particularly in families where they have traditional dishes. And now you're saying, oh, I can't eat the turkey. I made this turkey with love. Why can't you eat this, baby? So you have all that stuff going on. So that's the first part of it. So it's not really your friend natural reaction to that, because you're fighting against all of that, right? And then a lot of times we have I'm trying to think of a very good example. I can't. I was gonna try to make a good example, but I can't. So I don't know. It's just when it comes to vegan food, vegan gets a bad rap a lot of times because, as you just said, I tried vegan food. Some of it was good, some of it wasn't. And I just don't know what else to do, right? So you have to think about it. In your lifetime, I know like you're just now, what, 23, 24?
Yeah,
So
don't tell everyone. Yeah.
um, you've had plenty of time to try out different regular food, right? So, but everything you tried wasn't good, or was it?
No.
Right? So vegan food is exactly the same way. Like people will try one thing vegan and be like, "Oh, I can't. I don't like that vegan food. I tried this one dish my friend made and it was awful. I don't know how I can stand vegan." Well, you tried one dish. There's a plethora of food out there. How do you gonna say one dish says all of them are bad,
So
right?
basically, you're saying stick with it. It'll grow on me.
Well, I mean, not to be biased, but yeah, stick with it. But also, I mean, it's like I'm a little envious of Europe because you guys have like you're way ahead of America when it comes to plant-based and vegan and
Oh,
stuff
good,
like
because
that.
I was going to ask that, and now you are actually. Obviously, people
Hmm.
must have been able to recognize it from your accent because I didn't divulge it in the beginning. You are actually across the pond from me, right? You're on Rich's side. You're on Team Rich. So I was going to say, don't you feel like, because there was a phase, I want to say about a few years ago, where it was,
Hmm.
if you were a vegan, then that was the thing to be. Do you know what I mean? They went through a phase
Yeah.
where it's sort of, that's when it sort of blew up, because before that you had vegetarians, but you didn't really hear anything about vegans. And then a few years ago, it was a
Hmm.
trend to be a vegan.
Right. So veganism is actually somewhat of a new-ish trend. Like the word vegan really wasn't established until the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And then it really didn't catch mainstream until, well, I shouldn't say mainstream. It didn't start becoming more popular until about the 90s. But then it didn't really catch or popularity until, I don't know, 2010-ish, when like a bunch
Mm-hmm.
of celebrities started saying they were vegan and coming out that way. Joaquin Phoenix, Oscar nomination, all this stuff that started coming out and the documentaries. And that's when people really started jumping on board with veganism. I would love to say that it's still a trend that's rising, but I don't know. I hope more and more people are coming towards it because I personally feel it's the right way to be. I mean, why would anybody want to harm anything else, regardless of how good it tastes? Because all you
But
like is the
since
seasoning.
since you've started your vegan journey, do you feel
Mm-hmm.
like the choice and the variety has become more? There's more available for you to have?
Oh, absolutely. Even here in the US, where in the US, we have choices, but it's not like anywhere else because I follow plant-based news and vegan news and some other things. And they'll say, oh, Kit Kat has a vegan chocolate bar coming out. Oh, yes, UK only. Or it'll say all this other stuff that's coming out, but it's always in the UK first. And I'm like, man, really?
See, now
So,
you do know, since you've been a guest on the show, I can hook you up, right?
oh yeah, yo, if you see it, I'm just saying, hook your boy up. I would love it.
I'm just
We
saying.
could even try it out together. We could even try it out together. I'll come back home. We can
What?
try it out together.
Yes.
See,
I'll be down for that.
exactly.
I mean, do you have vegan restaurants there?
Where I currently live is very rural, so I have to go anywhere from 40 to 50 minutes to find just a vegan restaurant where they
Mm-hmm.
prepare everything vegan. But there are stores and restaurants near closer to me that give vegan options. I go to those every so often, but again, I'm trying my best to cook everything that I eat for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
But I still go out from time to time because let's face it, being in the house all day is boring. Plus, been on lockdown for a while, so I might need to get out.
The doors are open now. You need to get out there.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
well,
definitely.
I totally always listen to everything you have to say, so I'm going to bear that in mind, and I will still carry on with trying the vegan stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, even if I just had steak once a month, that's an improvement, right?
Well, everything is a process, and I know a lot of vegans. Don't at me, please, but I know everything's a process. Me personally, I was able to do it cold turkey. There are other people, they have to do steps. if you cut out one meal a day and just made it completely vegan, you are saving about 10,000 gallons of water.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I did it for 2 weeks straight without even a sniff of meat.
I'm not sure how much water that is.
And you know what it is? I literally, I think I felt like I was twitching. So I was like, oh God, is this because I haven't had any meat? Because my mum will tell you, she would say to me, oh my God, I can't believe you haven't eaten any meat. What's wrong with you?
Well, here's the thing. So there's two things that I want to make sure that I hit on. The first thing is that, yes, when you first give up animal products, particularly cheese, your body's gonna go through some type of withdrawals, because all of those have addictive properties, and cheese is the worst. Because think about it, it comes from cow's milk, and cow's milk is essentially bovine titty milk. That's pretty much what it is for the baby cows, and that's what we're drinking. And all that stuff, like when a mother gives her child their milk, it has all these enzymes in it that is designed to keep that baby attached to it. So if you're drinking cow's milk or drinking cheese or whatever else is made with milk, that's why so many products have milk in it. It keeps you addicted. So the other thing that I wanted to say was, when I first became vegan, I didn't drop weight. Mostly because I wasn't eating healthy. I was eating vegan junk food, or I was just putting stuff together that I thought might work, and I wasn't balanced because I wasn't learning about macros and my gut health and all that lovely stuff. Now that I've actually done the research and started learning to cook my food and what needs to be in there, more greens, all that lovely stuff, now I'm seeing my weight drop off. So yeah.
So basically you're saying, I'll repeat again, don't lose hope, keep on.
Exactly, 100%.
And
100%.
just going back to the whole milk thing, I didn't drink milk. I don't like milk, so I didn't. Even before I tried all this vegan stuff, I would have coconut milk or almond milk, because I just don't like the taste of milk, period. Cheese, on the other hand, love me some cheese.
Well, funny enough, if you love cheese, this is a free product endorsement. Try Miyoko's. They have awesome vegan cheese. Non-dairy cheese.
You're going to have to message me the spelling of that, and I'm going to have to check if we can even get it here, because we just said we got different products. So yeah,
absolutely.
I'll just clarify, I may not have eaten meat, and I've tried vegan stuff. I did still eat cheese. Sorry to vegans if I've offended anybody. Listen, Rome wasn't milk built in a day, was it?
No, it wasn't. And again, that's my thing. Like, if you are able to cut it one meal, one day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, and just keep going. Like, it's step by step.
You know what they say, everybody loves a trier, right? And I'm certainly trying.
That's definitely appreciated. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Right. I've got so many subjects still I haven't even touched on. Bite the Bullet. Tell us about Bite the Bullet. How did that come about? Where's it going? What do you talk about? Go.
So Bite the Bullet, in its first inception, I was thinking of, how do I put myself out there more? And how do I get my friends to come on and just have fun? So I shouldn't say everyone. Most people have played the game 20 Questions, right? Have you ever played the game 20 Questions? Okay.
Yeah.
So that was essentially my first thought of like, oh, let me just have a show where I ask someone 20 questions. But I was like, well, that might just be boring if I ask 20 questions. So I was like, well, let's talk like for 30 minutes and then I'll ask them questions. And that essentially was the start of the show. Mm-hmm. The show has since changed. There's a panel now, me and at the time it was 3 other people. It has changed again since then.
It's evolving, all the time evolving.
Yes, so now it's me and a lovely friend of mine, Trish. Me and her, we just talk about very tough subjects. And we bring on guests from time to time, subjects that particularly pertain to people of color. Mm-hmm. And we just talk about what the subject is, how can we change it, how can we uplift people, bring people knowledge, and we share our true feelings. We've talked about different leaders in the Black community, if they're helping, if they're hindering. We've talked about men cheating, women cheating, parenting, single people trying to date people. In the short span, yeah, and like whatever's interesting to our listeners, our viewers, and whatever we think is just a bomb topic. Like it's just, there is no bounds.
Okay, so as I said, you are across the pond. So I'm just gonna, based on what you just said, your show's about, and I've had conversations with Rich about these different things. Being a man of color in the US, I also know that you are in an interracial relationship, right? Your wife is white.
That's correct. That's correct.
How do you find that as a whole? Have you had any trouble? Have you had any bother? You know, how is it for you?
It's interesting because no one has ever said anything to me directly about my wife being white. She has told me people have said things to her about me being Black, but nothing negative, more of a curiosity, like, oh, what's his size? Oh, he must like watermelon, or like little stuff like that, you know? So the only thing we've ever really gotten together is looks. Because first of all, my wife is like a pit bull in a skirt. Like she, like you look at her the wrong way, she gonna go at you.
Oh my God, sorry, Mrs. Positivity. He said it, not me.
I mean, she's beautiful. I love her to death, but don't cross my wife. Like I'm the positive, happy, nice. She'll be nice, but don't cross her. I'm telling you. But it's just one of those things where my wife, when we first got together, she wasn't very aware of a lot of my feelings and what was going on in the communities of not just Black people, Hispanic, Asian, all these communities of color, or even poor communities, because poor white people get it just as bad as people of color as well. So it wasn't until we were together and I was reading different types of books, I was watching different documentaries, and of course, like she loves me. She was like, "Oh, what's this? Let me watch." So there was a point where me and her were like seeing differently, because again, from her perspective, how could all this be true? Like, for instance, I remember there was one day where I was telling her about the Tuskegee Experiment, which are you familiar? So in that experiment, right, she couldn't believe that the government would willingly, knowingly inject U.S. soldiers, Black soldiers, with syphilis and just see what happens. But that is documented, and that's what happened. And this went on for years, and I'm talking about decades. So she just couldn't believe it. And then it got to a point where once she started saying, you know what, this is true, that's when the layers started peeling back, and me and her were able to have more open and honest questions about how both of us feel on both sides. The only thing I think that I really get sometimes is people will look at me as if I don't know how to say, like I'm not Black enough, or oh, you got a snowflake on your arm, like you know, like I'm not for the cause and stuff like that. So other than that, I think that's the only real issues that I've had. I mean, I've had things where I feel we're racist, but I don't know, because no racist is going to say I'm racist, I hate you. Like that's just not real. But I can't assume what's inside someone's head. I can only look at their actions and perceive it how I perceive it.
And were both of your families accepting of your relationship?
Yes and no. So again, no one said anything, but you can feel the energy from certain type people when you come around. So from my wife's side, from my side, my wife was welcomed. No one said anything to her, but at the same time, they had to get to know her. I mean, like anyone else, but there was this very clear, who's this coming into our zone and stuff like that. But to my knowledge, no one has ever said anything, definitely not to me. On me, from her side, again, no one has ever said anything for me, but the very, very first Christmas that I came to visit her family, like I didn't know anybody, I just knew her. I came, and one of her uncles had a rebel jacket on, like a jacket that had the rebel flag on the back of it. And I'm like, wow, Merry Christmas. That's awesome. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't say anything to me. He was a very nice guy. He shook my hand, he hugged me. Me and him still talk to this day. I mean, we're cool. And even then we were cool. It's just the fact of that's a part of his heritage, like they love to say. And again, I don't think he meant anything by it, but that was the only big thing that stood out to me, other than people kind of giving me a side eye and not really wanting to talk to me because, you know, I'm an outsider and I was Black, or at least in my thought process.
I mean, I find it bizarre. It's like I've had people a few times say to me, "Oh, what does your mum think about you for the fact that you date Black guys?" And I'm like, as Mr. Positivity said, I'm 23. I'm an adult. I can date all
right?
Right?
Exactly.
Do you think, in your opinion, do you think racism is as bad as it used to be? Or because obviously now we hear about it more because people have got smartphones, they video it more. So it is, you know, slowly becoming more talked about. Do you feel like it's got any different, I don't want to say any better because
no, I know what you mean. So for me, I feel it hasn't gotten worse, and I feel it hasn't gotten better. So I feel that everything that happened since the dawn of time is still happening today. It's just now that we're videoing it and we're able to see it, whether people choose to believe it or not, that's another topic. But I feel that, again, like, it's not getting better, it's not getting worse, it's just being filmed now. People are always going to have their prejudices, and people are always going to have certain feelings toward people that they're not familiar with or they don't know, because they get certain type of stereotypes. But I feel, again, it's not better, it's not worse, it's just now we just get a privilege of knowing more and more about it.
And I mean, you like me have got mixed race children, you know.
Yeah.
What do you think about when you think about like their future and stuff, and as they grow older?
Honestly, I try not to think about it because it scares me. It truly does. But I try to raise my kids to love everyone, to treat everyone the way they want to be treated, and to just realize that people make mistakes. Even if someone says something to you that's inappropriate, or someone does something to you that isn't right, you know what? That's where they are at that moment. Any person can change. And I'm not saying that it's right for anyone to do something or say something to you, but always try to understand the people who show the most hate often need the most love.
Positive thinking there, like how you turned it around.
Sometimes.
Living up to your name. Right, now we've got one more subject that we must talk about.
Okay.
I've got me my coffee.
Oh, yay.
Oh, see? You bought yours just in case. The book, Legacy, by Mr. Jay Reace.
One of my other babies. I love Legacy.
Yeah. Where did the idea for this book come from? How did that come about?
It came from my family, to be honest. The story is very loosely based on my family. They always say, write what you know. I like to think that I know my family. So again, we're big geeks. And I was like, let me throw my family into a world with superpowers and how I kind of want the world to be. And I love fantasy. I love sci-fi. I love sword fights. I love gun battles. And I wanted to create a world that has all of that. And it's funny because I was speaking with an editor about a particular scene in a book. And the editor was like, how is it that you have a world that in one moment they're riding a horse and buggy, but then they're flying in a jet? How does that work? And I'm like, well, it's a fixed post-apocalyptic world. And she's like, well, you got to write that in the prequel. You got to have some pretext so we know what's going on. Yeah, that makes sense, don't it? So, but yeah, I made it work and it flows. The reviews for the book have been more heartfelt appreciation and love, because I think that's one of the scariest things as a creative person is putting your work out there and getting no love or hate for that matter. And
Or don't you
everyone
find
who
like
is,
there was, after it came out, there was probably a period of silence before anyone actually got their copy and said what they thought, and you probably were left thinking, does anybody like it? Is it okay? You know?
oh, absolutely, absolutely. And it's funny because I made the horrible mistake when I first wrote the book. My first manuscript of the book,
Mm-hmm.
I was like biting at the bits of letting people try to read it and just waiting to see what they said. Haven't edited, didn't go over anything. I just wrote out the book, was like, here, read this.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, we love you, but this sucks. And I'm like, it don't. I was like, it don't suck. And they're like, well, no, it doesn't suck, but it's not good. You have grammar errors all over the place. I don't follow the story. What are you talking about? And I'm like, oh yeah, well, I meant to fix that. And then they look at me like, wait a minute, you haven't fixed anything? Like, no, go take this back and edit it a couple times. Like, what's wrong with you? So yeah, that was my mistake.
Is this a standalone book, or is it one of a series? Are we going to see Legacy Part 2?
Yes, I'm currently working on Legacy Part 2.
Ooh.
Fingers crossed, everything works out. Legacy Part 2, which is untitled at the moment, should be out by the end of September.
Is it like a trilogy, or is that it, just 2 parts?
It should be. I'm planning on it being a trilogy. It just depends on how Part 2 ends. And again, I'm trying not to say too much, but
see, that was Rich's big question. That was Rich's big question. Make sure you ask him: is he going to bring another book out, and is it going to have pictures? I was like, okay, I'll ask.
I don't know. Rich is not the only person who's been asking, is there going to be pictures? And I'm like, what is my demographic that everybody wants pictures in this book?
I tell you what, it's because they've
understand.
obviously got an idea of what the characters look like. Now, if you are a big fan and a big friend of Jay Reace like me, you would have been able to get these bookmarks to accompany your book, and then you would know what the characters look like. So sorry, Rich, and everyone else hasn't got some.
Everybody's gonna message me like, I thought we were friends. Why didn't I get bookmarks?
Sorry, not sorry. Are they available to buy with your book?
Unfortunately, at the moment, they are not. I go through Amazon. That's where everyone can find my book. Amazon doesn't give me that lovely, nice little option to put stuff in there like that, or even to sell the bookmark separately. However, though, hopefully within another month or 2, I will have a website where people can actually buy from the website, and I can possibly give it as a discounted rate.
And I won't be as special because I won't be the only ones with a set of bookmarks.
Well, there will be other merch that maybe I can throw to you before everybody else. And plus, the bookmarks that are coming out will be a little bit different than the ones that you have. Same images, but they'll be a little different. So you still have originals first.
I like to feel special, a little extra special, It's the small things in life that please you when you get older. And
I get you.
But no one else has got. It's definitely for me.
Yeah.
So is there going to be any other books other than Legacy? Have you got another, or is that just your main babies?
Right now, Legacy is the main baby, but I can tell you, as a creative person, there are tons of ideas in my head. I've actually started writing some other ideas down, or writing the stories out. And there are other stories coming, different characters, different worlds. I even have I'm still not sure what to call it yet, but I'm creating a story based on my time in the military.
Ooh.
And let me tell you, it's going to be spicy, funny, and buddy.
Well, you had me at spicy.
And what can I say?
Is there bookmarks to go with that one?
There will not be, well, there might be. I'm actually, there's a lady that I found on TikTok who makes these awesome bookmarks, and I apologize for not remembering her name because I literally just found her this morning. So like, I connected with her and we're gonna do something. She has an Etsy store. I'll be more than happy to send you her information later. But
yeah, we can add her in.
She's awesome. So she might be able to come up with something for that particular type of book.
Mm-hmm.
But for that kind of book, I don't know what merch I can do around that book other than maybe t-shirts. But I don't know if there'll be bookmarks. Maybe. We'll see.
Now, are you open if someone wants to turn your books into a film?
Oh, absolutely. Holla at your boy, of course.
And who would play you? Because I'm getting a Ghost from Power vibe coming at the minute from Amara Hardwick.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that, with the exception of I gotta play myself. I'm sorry.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I got an acting background and I don't care. No, I'm playing. I would not be that conceited to play myself. I would love to be like as an advisor on it
Yeah.
to keep the authenticity of the world. But other than that, no. Or maybe like I could do like Stanley and have like a little cameo in the background somewhere.
Yeah. No
But
speaking part, silent part.
but if oh man, who would I want to play me? And see, like a lot of the actors that I loved and grew up watching, they're older now. They couldn't play this version of me because like
The 25-year-old that you are.
yeah, I know, right? Off the bat, like I want to say Will Smith, but Will Smith, he doesn't fit the age demographic anymore for that.
And he hasn't been working out lately, right? He's been letting
I've noticed that. I've noticed that. Well, actually, no, he is. Like he's getting back now that they lifted it. He's like, oh, I gotta get back in shape.
Maybe at the end of his exercise journey, then we can consider it.
But who? Oh, I don't even know. Oh, and you know who I would want to do it now? I would want Michael B. Jordan.
Yes.
That's who I want.
I love Michael B. Jordan.
I don't know if he's as tall as I'd want the character to be, but I have no shadow of a doubt he would be able to play. Because the funny thing, the character that represents me in the book, he
is that him?
I can't say that. Yes, that is him. That is him. That is the one that represents me.
I mean, it definitely looks like you. I can see similarities there.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
But I can't say what I was going to say because I just realized that would have been a spoiler. So for anyone,
I nearly had you there without even knowing it. I nearly had you.
For anyone who hasn't read the book yet. So, but let's just say whoever plays me, which I would hope would be Michael B. Jordan, has to be a really good actor for what the role calls based on the book.
Okay, now I am renowned, in Richard's words, for chucking people under the bus. I don't like to say it like that. I like to say that I like to give you an opportunity and I not catch you off guard, but I wouldn't ever say anything you're not prepared to do. Now, you've already shown me that you've got a copy there, so I'm going to ask you to open your book at any page and read us a page of your book.
I'm going to have to agree with Rich. Yeah, you just threw me under the bus, but okay.
Come on. When them book sales go through the roof.
All right, any page, okay.
Just one page.
This is page 72, and I'm reading the whole page.
Yep, just one page.
Okay, all right. I don't think I was ready for this. Okay. Retaliation, Zayden replies with a smile. Zaylin, an eye for an eye leaves us both blind. He pulls his collar to the side, revealing a mesh of dark, burnt skin that pulls and twists against the rest of his skin. That's a very bad form, old boy, very bad form. With a wicked smile, Zayden punches Zolani in the stomach. Gasping for air, Zolani says, "Am I supposed to feel sorry for you? We all have scars. You were my brother." "Yes, I was your brother. Now, not so much. I guess. Lucky. I have instincts too. My mind was astro projected into another place. If not for my dear Corina, I might still be floating around aimlessly. But now I have a target and I'm taking aim. Your time is up, Zolani. Your time is up. Just kill me already and cut the theatrics," Zolani snaps. "You've always been overly dramatic. Even when we were kids, you loved making every problem into a circus-level event." "Oh, Zolani, let's not dwell on the past, shall we? I'm not here for that. It's on to bigger and better things for me. I'm here for the Lumistar." Smirking, he turned to Zolani's daughter. "Naya, be a dear. Release your parents and come stand over here." Rain and Zolani drop to the ground with a hard thud as Naya takes her place next to Corina. "Now, Corina, did you bring the dampening cuffs for our feathery leathered friend over there?" Corina flips her hair back as she approaches Zayden, her hips swaying with every step. She assumes a pose that draws attention to her best attributes as she takes the dampening cuffs off her belt loop at her lower back. "Of course I have." She extends the cuffs to Zayden. Zayden clenches his teeth and has a glare to her. Put them on it. Serena scurries to the Korean, grappling his arms and pinning them to his back as she tightens and dampening cuffs around its waist. She gives a nod to Zayden.
Oh my God, you know what? You are so, the voices that you were in the zone. Now you've got to do this. Are they available as like ebooks with you reading them?
I keep toying with that idea because, again, I'm trying my best not to be egocentric and do it the way that I want to do it and do my own my own audiobook and maybe hire someone. But the more I keep doing stuff like that, the more I'm like, you know what, maybe I should do it myself.
You definitely have to do it. And you know, the thing is, you would have to record it, not obviously for your own reasons, but like your face the whole time. You was like different characters. Honestly, watch the show back. You are in the zone. Oh, wow. Thank you, Mr. Jay Reace Positivity. Thank you so much for that reading.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for putting me on the spot. That was fun. I enjoyed that.
Right. I'll say we because Rich is still here. Before we let you go.
In spirit.
Yes. Where can everyone find your book?
So it is on Amazon is the main place. Amazon.com. Search Legacy of Scion book series or just search my name. It comes right up on the first page. If you are a subscriber to Ingram Sparks, you can also purchase it there. My website, again, Figure Cross, should be up in about 2 months. You will also be able to purchase it there, which that will be findingjayreace.com.
Lovely. And when you get your website, we'll also share that with everybody. But where can people find you on social media?
So I am on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You know, I got my TikTok going. And Snapchat, everything is Finding Jay Reace.
Finding Jay Reace. So I'm going to put all your links and everything in the write-up, the book, anybody who wants to follow your journey, you do exercise, you do vegan, you do books, you do your show, where can people find Bite the Bullet, by the way?
So Bite the Bullet is on YouTube. Just search Bite the Bullet Show. It'll come up. Also, if you prefer digestible podcast, it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We just got iHeart, and there's Google Play, and then there's a whole bunch of other ones.
And those are the main four. I'm sure Jay Reace hasn't deleted old episodes with me and Rich on there. So if you want to go and watch us where Jay Reace interviews us, then go and have a look. It was absolutely, we laughed so much, to be fair.
Yes, we did.
It was great. Thank you so much. And we're definitely having you back. There's no doubt about that. Wouldn't be able to not have you back because obviously I'm sure Rich is going to say, why didn't you ask this? Why didn't you ask that? When he said this, why didn't you say that? What about this? But no, I'm going to share everything with everybody where they can find you, your book, your show. Thank you so much for giving up your time and coming to join me on the show.
No problem. Thank you for having me. Anything for you, Soph. If I can do it, it is yours.
Thank you so much. And I will speak to you soon.
All right. Talk to you later.
Thank you. Right. I'm just trying to, there we go. Bless him. Oh, Jay Reace. Definitely, if you haven't already, check out his book. I'm going to put links to all his stuff, like I said. Well, that was grand. I mean, I feel like I had so much to talk to him about. I've totally waffled on and probably gone way over the hour, I think. But, oh, wow, who cares? As of yet, I'm not sure who's on next week. But please come back, keep me company, listen to me droning on. Rich, fingers crossed, it's coming back in a couple of weeks' time. And it should all go back to normal. Yay. Yeah, so as Jay Reace said, he's got a website coming out. We've actually been working on ours. It's not quite ready yet. But yeah, as soon as it is, we'll let you guys know. Other than that, I've been Soph. He's been rich, and we are across the pond. Yepper.